Tesla CEO Elon Musk warning of a rough economic road ahead in an internal company memo, saying, quote, "This has been a very tough quarter, primarily due to supply chain and production challenges in China, so we need to rally hard to recover."
Shares of Tesla, though, just getting hammered today and hammered this year, down 7+% on the day and 45+% year to date. They have just been crushed in recent months.
In this video, Tesla stock collapses again amid continued turmoil in the stock market and a new leaked email from Elon Musk with a dire warning for Tesla investors regarding Tesla's Q2. So let's get into it. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store, so check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. The flying spaghetti monster continues to answer our prayers. Tesla stock today getting absolutely smoked, down over 7%, closing under $650 per share. I have to say it once again, Tesla with a market cap today in June 2022 of less than $700 billion. This is just getting absurd. Don't say I didn't warn you. In 2032, this is going to look like a pretty decent deal, in my opinion. Of course, Tesla getting dragged down by turmoil in the wider stock market. The Nasdaq 100 today down almost 5%. ARK's flagship ETF, the ARK K Innovation Fund, down almost 10%. Amazon down about 5.5%. Apple down almost 4%. Alphabet stock, Google's parent company, down over 4%. Rivian stock down 5.5%. Lucid stock down almost 10%. And my favorite real stock, Nikola, down over 13% today. And just finally, Coinbase stock down today almost 12%. Interestingly, there was a point not too long ago. At its peak, Nikola's market cap was over $20 billion. Twice what Coinbase is worth today. At the time, I believe Nikola's only customer was Trevor Meltdown Milton buying a few solar panels. And I may be wrong here, but I think Coinbase actually has more than one customer at this point in time. I'm still scratching my head here wondering why Coinbase has a market cap of less than $12 billion as I record this. I've got a funny feeling this won't age well either. But hey, I could be wrong. Plus, all my money's still going into Tesla stock, so pay attention to my actions, not my words. Let me know in the comments below if you bought Tesla stock today. If so, what did you pay and how many shares? And just a quick aside, in the last couple of weeks, I've noticed a lot of comments coming out of the woodwork, the self-hating basement-dwelling adult versions of Tesla Q. Tesla stock's down, you're a moron, they're going bankrupt. All I have to say is, see you in 2032, here's my bet. I bet, even in the worst case, Tesla does about a 15x from where we are today. Give or take a decade from now, I think the worst case, Tesla's market cap $10 trillion plus. Of course, if you don't have a long-term investment horizon, if your investment horizon is about as long as your micropenis, you may not quite grasp this. You might think, you were buying at $1,000 6 months ago, you're a moron. Meanwhile, I'm thinking, $1,000, what a fucking bargain. $1,200, what a bargain. This thing would be a bargain at $2,000 with a long-term perspective, in my opinion. Now, of course, I could be wrong. It does happen occasionally, but I don't think I will be. And in the past, in general, the trolls, the Tesla Q basement-dwelling adult virgins coming out of the woodwork almost always correlates with approximate peak fear within the stock market. So let's see how things play out. Now let's read Elon's email to Tesla employees with a Q2 warning. Quote, "This has been a very tough quarter, primarily due to supply chain and production challenges in China, so we need to rally hard to recover. I'd like to congratulate the Fremont team for achieving an all-time record production day last week and Berlin for making almost 1,000 cars last week. This is great stuff. Shanghai is returning to full strength and Austin is spooling up. Onward to victory." Elon also followed up with a reply to this email. Quote, "We actually build great, real products that people love and make their lives in the world better. That is so profound. It is an honest day's work that you can feel in your heart. Whatever else is going on in this messed up world, know that at least what you are doing is pure goodness and that I have infinitely more respect and admiration for you than the richest person on Wall Street." So it's obvious Q2 isn't going to be amazing for Tesla. First of all, we have this email from Elon pointing out the obvious, the fascist shutdowns in Shanghai, losing a ton of production. Clearly this isn't ideal. In addition to that, Bitcoin is currently getting absolutely wrecked, meaning Tesla's going to have an impairment in Q2 results. Smart investors will completely ignore this, it's one-off. Same with the Shanghai lockdowns and the lost production. However, in pure numerical terms, Tesla's Q2 may look pretty horrendous compared to recent quarters. the stock market's logical, this will make no difference whatsoever to Tesla because these are all temporary blips on the radar. But remember, when was the last time the stock market was logical? So things could get very interesting after Tesla reports their Q2 results. I have no idea what's going to go on. I'm not going to bother trying to predict, but I will say, at the very least, the stock market reaction will be interesting, if not informative. But now, some comments from the mainstream finance media about Tesla stock, the market bloodbath, and Elon's leaked email.
My play is Tesla because Tesla CEO Elon Musk talks of a, quote, very rough quarter. In an internal memo, he also urged employees to rally hard to recover. Tesla production has been hit hard by Shanghai's COVID shutdowns, and just as that city of 26 million was reopening, news that most of the city would go back in and endure more mass testing across the entire city. In Beijing as well, the reopening of schools has again been put off as China's COVID zero policy remains in place.
I'd just like to take a brief moment here to point out the idiocy, the lunacy, and the sheer futility of China's COVID zero policy, you fucking idiots. The inhumane, futile, fascist lockdowns in Shanghai, certainly effective at destroying China's economy, but that's about it. It's like these morons are on another planet. Anyway, enough said on that, let's move on.
And it looks like another outbreak may be upon them. Now, Tesla did have a pretty productive quarter, delivering more than 310,000 vehicles in the quarter. Estimates are for this quarter still around 300,000. Shares of Tesla, though, just getting hammered today and hammered this year, down 7+% on the day and 45+% year to date. Rochelle, they have just been crushed in recent months.
Take a moment and let that one sink in. Tesla stock's almost half price from recent peaks less than a year ago. This is despite flawless execution, absolutely slaying it, furthering their lead. Incredible wait times, new factories ramping up. I could keep going on and on and on. As I said, in my opinion, bargain of the fucking century. In my opinion, Tesla stock was great value at $1,200. It's now almost half price. Even better value. I think the only people who can't see this are the Tesla Q virgins. Amazingly, I've seen comments on Twitter in the last 24 hours. Some of these fools saying that Tesla's a better short today than it was 6 months ago. If you say so. Tesla stock has been volatile AF since day one. What we're looking at here, the first 2 years from Tesla's IPO, moving forward, we can see Tesla stock, a drawdown in percentage terms, about 35% soon after IPO, then rocketing up about 50% from IPO price, then back down below IPO price, swinging wildly 20, 30, 40, 50%. This is normal for Tesla. However, if we skip ahead just 2 years, we have a very different picture. Tesla's still extremely volatile, but being dwarfed by the future growth. Tesla stock absolutely screaming, up well over 500% in the span of a year or so, then crashing by about 50%. Fancy that. Then rocketing up again, then another huge crash. This is common. This is normal. Tesla, volatile AF. Let's move forward another 2 years. We're now looking mid-2014 to mid-2016. Anyone notice a trend? Tesla stock still violently swinging up, then down, then up, then down. Huge drawdown here. Look at that. Skipping ahead another 2 years. Same trend. Tesla stock swinging wildly up, down, then rocketing up, crashing, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Moving forward another 2 years. Again, extremely volatile, but the trend overall up. Again, I want to emphasize, from the start of this 2 year period, up 167% before crashing basically back to where it started. Then rebounding extremely violently, moving up 200% in the blink of an eye. And now the final 2 years, a little bit less than that, but close enough. We see the same pattern once again. Tesla, extremely volatile, rapid movements up, then a big crash. And these crashes are getting dwarfed by the scale of the chart here, but look, the start of this 2 year period, Tesla stock up 146%, then crashing by about 50% once again. Another rocket up, another crash, another rocket up, crash, 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 crash. Now let's look at the entire lifetime history of Tesla stock, just for some perspective after all those big ups and downs, the huge drawdowns of 50+%. Overall, the trend is pretty clear, to the moon. Certainly been a bumpy ride along the way, but this is normal. This is Tesla stock. This is volatility. The early volatility in the first few years is so small compared to the scale of Tesla's growth since that we can barely see. This looks like a straight line, but this is actually violent swings up and down. We already looked over those first few years, right? So it's interesting to see over a long time scale, despite the insane volatility, the trend is fairly clear. Every time Tesla stock's down 10, 20, 30, 40+%, the bears come out of the woodwork, the short sellers, haha, Tesla's going to zero, and next minute they're wrong every single time. But of course, this time is different.
It's true, and it's interesting because despite that, we've seen that RBC analyst Joseph Spack believes that now is the time to actually buy the dip on Tesla. He said that the near-term setup seems favorable. With investors primed for low deliveries, we believe believe second quarter margins can surprise to the upside. So this might be a wait and see story. Obviously, Tesla in a tough position right now. We don't know, obviously, how long these lockdowns are going to last for. So they put a lot of eggs in that basket in Shanghai. So we'll have to see how that plays out.
Most analysts still like the fundamentals of the company, and they are so far ahead of the EV curve, it's hard not to bet on their long-term success.
It's hard to argue with that. Even most of the Wall Street stock analysts are coming around. I mean, the average price target for Tesla stock from Wall Street analysts, as I record this, is close to $1,000 per share. Tesla stock today under $650. It's an extremely rare moment in time when the consensus price target for Tesla stock from Wall Street is significantly above where Tesla's trading. It's almost always the opposite. Tesla stock's here, average price target's here, and the analysts are chasing after the price. Just to provide some important context, this is what long-term investing looks like and why those drawdowns in the past that we just looked at, Tesla stock down 20, 30, 40, 50+%, are meaningless over the longer term. This is my complete buy history on Tesla stock, never sold a share, only ever bought. What we're going to focus on here is purchase price, and let's look at some of the buying habits. I first purchased Tesla stock in early 2016 around the $40 per share mark. Soon after, I was paying around $52 per share. A couple of months later, I was buying at $39 per share. A few months after that, $37 per share. A year later, I was paying $60 per share. A year after that, I was paying in the $50 range, then in the $49 range, and continued buying in the 50s, in the mid 50s, in the low 50s, in the high 40s, in the mid 40s, in the low 40s, in the high 30s, that's right. On the 31st of May 2019, I picked up Tesla stock multiple occasions for $37 per share. Reminder, 3 years earlier, more than 3 years earlier, I was paying in the mid 40s and the early 50s. Then I was paying as high as $60 in November 2017, almost double the price. Did I cry in the corner or complain? No, because Tesla still looked like a great bargain. In March 2020, I was paying almost 4 times what I'd paid almost a year earlier, $122 per share for Tesla stock. Later that same month, I'm paying $109. Same month, paying $91. Same month, paying $84 per share. Did I cry? No. Still a great bargain. Just kept buying. A month and a half later, instead of paying $84 per share, I'm paying $154 per share. $145, $150, $163. $164, $155, $188. A couple of months after that, I'm paying $476 per share. Do you guys notice a trend here? I just keep buying. Doesn't really matter what the price is doing. I have money, I buy Tesla stock. Sometimes I'm paying a lot more than I was a few days or weeks earlier. Other times I'm paying way less. But yet, I continue buying. In September 2020, I was paying in the mid 300s. Later in September, I was paying $420.69 per share. My last purchase in 2020, Tesla stock $394 per share. My first purchase in 2021, $865 per share. More than double. Yet I continue buying because still a bargain. Later that same month in February, having bought Tesla stock for $865 per share. 3 weeks later, I'm paying $686 per share, then $674, then $669.42. Yet again, I just keep buying. Continue purchasing in February and March in 2021, somewhere in the 600 range. May 2021, Tesla stock in the $575 range. A huge difference just a few months earlier, Tesla stock in the mid to high 800s. $848 in February 2021. 3 months later, $575. Again, was I crying in the corner? No, I was just buying the dip. Later in 2021, Tesla stock's back in the $800 range. By late October, I'm paying $950 per share for Tesla stock. Still a bargain. Then November 2021, I'm paying almost $1,200 per share because, once again, still a bargain. In December of that same year, I'm paying $969.69 for Tesla stock. Then $942.69. Then in the high 800s. Then close to $1,100 again in January 2022. And in the 900s. And in the 800s, and picked up one share earlier this year, May 2022, for $621.69 per share. I know that was long, but it's important context. This is what long-term investing looks like. And now for the fun part. Let's look at the lifetime returns on each of these individual purchases of Tesla stock over the last half decade or so. We'll just scroll across here. These are the value gains on my Tesla purchases since I began buying the stock. The very first purchase up over 1,400%. The next one up 1,200%. The next one 1,100. The next one 1,200. The next 1,500. The next 1,400. Then 16. Then 1,300. Then less than 1,000%. Oh no, the end of the world. I overpaid. I've only made almost 10 times my money on that one. How terrible. I should have waited and bought the dip. And on and on and on and on. If you want to pause, feel free. I'm going to scroll through these relatively quickly. You guys can see a trend, right? Over time, I keep buying. Sometimes I'm up 1,200%, sometimes 1,600, sometimes 800%. But the trend overall tends to average out. Of course, the more recent the purchase of Tesla stock on average, the lower the lifetime returns. We see them plummet from in the 300% range now to the 30% range. For the record, these are shares purchased back in 2020 in August. And it gets better. The most recent purchases on Tesla stock over the last year and a half, all down at this point in time. Hence the Tesla Q basement dwelling adult virgins pointing and laughing. But again, Rewind, look at the history. This comes with the territory. 10 years time, I think these are all going to be up considerably. Just for the record, we can scroll through, look at my most recent purchases, almost all in the red here. Some of them significantly. Look, Tesla stock down 45% since I purchased it here. Another 45, another 45, another 37. But again, I'm not crying in the corner here. I'm continuing to buy the dip with every spare cent. And just because I know a few people will be wondering, let's tally up my total on-paper losses for the most recent purchases of Tesla stock going back about the last 18 or so months. We'll include a few of them that are positive as well because there's some bloodbath up here too. I think that's the lot. Yeah, perfect. All right. Total on-paper loss for Tesla stock purchased since February 2021, a little over a year ago. Down on paper, $216,672. Do I care? No, in fact, I'm actually really happy Tesla stock's down because I'm still buying. If I was done buying, I wouldn't have any skin in the game. I wouldn't care. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, I don't care. But to me, because I'm still accumulating and I'm looking over the long term, the cheaper Tesla stock is today, the happier I am. The better deal I'm getting, the better the bargain. It's times like these that dumb investors lose money, they sell, they panic. Oh, I bought this 6 months ago, it's down. Fuck this stock, I'm quitting. Fuck this, I'm selling. And this is the same time that intelligent investors who see opportunities and have a solid investment thesis go, Tesla stock down almost 50% since peak despite flawless execution. I think I might keep buying. As I've said recently, almost as if the universe is conspiring to offer up intelligent long-term investors the bargain of the century on a platter. Elon Musk selling some Tesla stock to exercise options, pay some taxes, people panic, stock crashes. Then you've got the Twitter deal and the macro environment and the fascist shutdowns in Shanghai, just one thing after another, none of which have anything to do with Tesla's business whatsoever, anything to do with their technological lead, anything to do with EV adoption. All of the factors right now that are hammering Tesla stock down about 50% from all-time highs have nothing to do with the company or their execution. Smart investors get this, and morons who think they're investors don't quite seem to understand. I'm going to have fun clipping these videos in a few years' time.
Tesla CEO Elon Musk warning of a rough economic road ahead in an internal company memo saying, quote, "This has been a very tough quarter, primarily due to supply chain and production challenges in China, so we need to rally hard to recover!" Exclamation point. Here with more is Bloomberg technology correspondent Ed Ludlow. Ed, it feels like we do this every quarter. Why does Elon Musk put us through this?
Yeah, it's certainly a rallying cry. As you said, it's an usual thing to happen at this point in the cycle. You know, the quarter ends, of course, at the end of June. But the context here is that, remember, the Shanghai plant in Tesla, which has really become the engine room of global production, was shut down for around 3 weeks in April. We got data Friday that May production for Tesla was really strong, around a rebound from April, where they produced around 33,000 vehicles, up from 10,000 in April. But he's getting people going. He's saying to his troops, come on, let's do this. There was some that started this year hoping they'd deliver around 1.5 million vehicles. The shutdowns in China have really thrown that into doubt. But there was other detail in that memo about things going pretty well in Berlin, in Austin, and here in Fremont too. So despite the stock being down around 5%, things are optimistic.
The shares, Ed, have taken something of a hit. I'm assuming that he knows that the rest of us will get to read this. Does he care?
Whether he cares about the share price or not, I mean, we got news of the stock split on Friday, right? 3-for-1 stock split that had been telegraphed. This is something that Tesla, of course, has deployed in the past. The share's down below $700 a share. The stock split makes sense. Why wouldn't you do a stock split if you can make the stock more accessible to a retail investor base that really believes in Elon Musk and really believes in the story? There was actually a second memo that Elon Musk sent over the weekend to his staff saying that he actually didn't care about the richest person on Wall Street, quote. He cared about the sentiment of the workers and them knowing that what they were doing was building something important, right, that had an impact on the world. You read between the lines. We have to draw inferences. Every time I come on, I have that caveat. I have no idea what's inside Elon Musk's head. But if you read the wording of his memo, I think he's very conscious of Wall Street and the share price and, frankly, doesn't give a damn.
Ed has absolutely nailed this point. Elon Musk gives literally zero fucks about Tesla's stock price, which is the way things should be. What Elon cares about is Tesla's execution. Stock price will follow, with the caveat there being over the long term. Over the short term, Tesla's execution and Tesla's stock price can go in polar opposite directions, as we've seen over and over and over.
Ed, walk us through perhaps some of the issues that you're seeing when it comes to, sure, there's the production issues in China right now, but there's also perhaps production issues in other parts of the world, Germany, even Austin, Texas. How is Tesla dealing with that?
Yeah, Tesla has definitely demonstrated it's more nimble than some of perhaps the legacy automakers here in the United States, even those in Europe. Having vertical integration in its production system helps. You know, they pivoted, for example, on the semiconductor issue to a new chip supplier and were able to rewrite the code on the back end, which other automakers just simply can't do. They don't have the talent or the nimbleness to do it.
Imagine that. Even the mainstream finance media acknowledging that other, quote, automakers don't have the talent or the nimbleness. Fair and accurate statements.
The thing that really is hurting everyone right now, ironically, is gas prices, right? Tesla is still loading up these vehicles onto big rigs, semi-trucks to move them from A to B. The logistics environment is very tough. You're having to pay a premium in order to get things done. And this fits in with the memo that was sent, right? A rallying cry at the end of the quarter. It's often a sprint finish for Tesla, but they've been very transparent in quarterly earnings about the margin pressures coming from this environment on the commodity cost side, but also the logistics side, and it will be interesting in the next quarter's earnings to see what the real material impact of that was.
Ed, do you think he's paying attention to what's happening in the crypto market? He was once its biggest driver, no longer, but nevertheless a factor.
This one's really interesting, especially those Tesla shareholders that wish things were a bit more straightforward. You look, I'm basically going off some tweets that I've seen, but Tesla holds Bitcoin on the balance sheet. We'll have to wait until the next quarterly earnings to see what the impact of that was. In the same time, Elon Musk has been tweeting about Tesla and SpaceX accepting payment in Dogecoin for merchandise, which is, you know, a clear bet that cryptocurrencies are real, that they're usable in the real world. I think if you're a Tesla shareholder, you probably want some communication from the company on what the strategy is with Bitcoin, because now it will show up in a material way on the balance sheet.
Tesla's kept investors up to date on this one. They bought some Bitcoin, then Elon's like, hang on a minute. A lot of the energy used to mine Bitcoin, not sustainable, therefore we don't want to be transacting this and adding to the problem. Once things change, we'll start accepting payments in Bitcoin. And until then, we're just going to hold it on the balance sheet. Because Bitcoin's absolutely getting hammered at the moment, Tesla will have an impairment in Q2 financial results. But again, the stock market should ignore this because it's temporary and it's one-off. It's really hard to keep the smile off my face in times like these. As I've mentioned, the flying spaghetti monster really does seem to be serving up the bargain of the fucking century for intelligent investors. While most of the market is panicking, fearful, worrying, dumping stocks, freaking out, crying in the corner and asking for daddy to hold them, I continue to scrape together every spare cent to buy as much Tesla stock as I possibly can at these ridiculous prices. And I know hope is not a strategy, but it's all I've got, and my Patreon supporters will understand exactly why. I've made a few videos on this recently, but I really do hope that Tesla stock continues to get pounded for at least a couple more months. As I said, my Patreon supporters will understand exactly why. And speaking of Patreon, you can join with the card in the corner or the link in the pinned comment. You'll gain access to my Tesla stock price targets, which indicate exactly why I can't wipe the smile off my face. As I said, even in the worst case, we're looking at about a 15x over the next 10 years. If I'm right, and if I'm wrong, well, that's fine as well, but I'm not going to be betting against myself. So, see you guys over on Patreon. I'm Stephen Mark Ryan. This is Solving the Money Problem, and I love you all. Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you enjoy these videos, there's a bunch of ways you can support the channel, access exclusive content and perks, and get some free stocks and crypto. Check out the links in the pinned comment below. You can also pick up some Tesla, Elon, and investment themed merch in the merch store. If you want to take it to the next level, join thousands of members on Patreon to gain exclusive access to over 100 Q&A videos, loads of exclusive content, exclusive access to my up-to-date 10-year Tesla stock price targets, and even access my Tesla valuation model at the investor support level and above. So check out the links in the pinned comment below, and thanks for your support. And if you're still watching, you're awesome. I read every single comment on this channel and I really appreciate your feedback. So if you've got any thoughts on today's video, questions, comments, or suggestions for a new video, let me know in the comments below. Check the cards on screen now to browse the merch store, join Patreon, or watch the next video.